Howdy, hi. It is Do Your Job Sports College Football Week 14 picks and predictions, the last week of the regular season for college football. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, we're going to recap the previous week's results. We started off with Ohio plus 2.5. How about they win on the money line? They ended up beating Toledo by, I think, like 20, 25 points. This was a Wednesday night game or a Thursday night game. They destroyed them. This game was never close. They took the lead early and then ran with it. We had Nebraska minus 2.5 versus Wisconsin. Another spot. They took the lead early, ran with it. Never a game. East Carolina plus 3.5 at North Texas. They won the game outright by 12. We had Minnesota plus 12.5 versus Penn State. They only lost by 1. They could have messed around and won this game. They had that lucky blocked field goal or blocked extra point for a return safety, which was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that before in like an actual meaningful game. So that was wild. Then we had Missouri minus 9.5 versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State sucks. I don't think Missouri's very good, but good God, is State awful. Our losers, we had 6, even though there's 5 on the screen, because we lost the spread and the over in the Bama game. So we had Colorado minus 3 at Kansas. I have now bet against Kansas 4 weeks in a row. I've lost every single time. You would think I would have learned my lesson after the third time, but no. I kept fading them. They screwed me again. We had the East Carolina and North Texas over 73.5. They only scored 68. It was 40-28 final score in that one. We then had, this was just the fun bet of the week, Kent State plus 10 versus Akron on Tuesday Night Football. I called for the money line. I said this is the one game Kent State will win. They were up 7-0 in this game. They got destroyed. It was never close. It was bad. It was so bad. Kent State, by far the worst team in college football. We then had the Bama minus 14 and the over. Bama only scored 3 points. Alabama's down bad without Saban. They're going to be bad. Then we had Houston plus 8 at home versus Baylor. They lost by 10. Why, Houston? Why? All right, that is how I went 5 and 6 on the week. So let's get into the video. First game, it is Minnesota and Wisconsin. Minnesota we bet last week. Wisconsin we bet against the previous week. We are now backing the Badgers here. Wisconsin minus 2. The Gophers heading into Madison. Minnesota's off of that loss to Penn State by 1 point. Wisconsin has to win this game to become bowl eligible. I think you're going to find me riding that angle a lot in these games. I think that matters to teams. Minnesota's already bowl eligible with 6 wins. I don't think they care too much if they go 6-6 or 7-5. I do think Wisconsin cares a lot as of if they make a bowl game. They've lost 4 games in a row. They need this final one real bad. I don't mind how the Badgers have played this year. They've had a tough schedule in the Big Ten. They've played some big opponents, unlike certain teams, which won't be named. Cough, cough, wink, wink. Ohio State, you had 1 game against Penn State, and that's it. The rest of your season was a joke. Minus Oregon, but you didn't win the game, so it doesn't matter. I like Wisconsin here. I think they get it done to be bowl eligible. Give me the Badgers. Next game, the Gamecocks and Clemson. This does determine Clemson's season, and then they need some help on top of it. Both of these teams realistically had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They destroyed Wofford in the Citadel in their Week 13 matchups. Why these teams schedule such poop competition this deep in the season, I will never understand, but it's whatever. If Clemson wants to make the ACC championships, they need some things to happen. So, who has already clinched? Who's already clinched? Oh, SMU's already clinched. Sorry. SMU has clinched their spot in the ACC championship game. It is now between Miami and Clemson to see who they're going to play. If Miami wins, they are in. They win the tiebreaker with Clemson. It's based on similar opponent win percentage. And since Clemson lost to Louisville, but both Miami and SMU beat Louisville, Miami beats Clemson in the tiebreaker. So Clemson has to beat this Gamecocks team at home and then hope Miami loses their game, which I do not think they're going to. So I think Clemson's screwed. But they got to get this one done first. I think Dabo and the boys will be ready for it. If they do win this game and Miami wins theirs, at least Clemson will get into a semi-good bowl game probably. So they have that to go for, but that's about it. Give me the Tigers minus 2.5. Next game, we are going back to the Ohio Bobcats. We're riding them minus 14.5 at home versus Ball State. This is a Friday night game. If the Bobcats win, they are in the MAC championship. Redbirds, Cardinals are 3-8 on the year. They have nothing to play for. They're horrible. Ohio, much better offense and defense in this matchup. Their offense averaging 30 more yards per game than the Cardinals do. Ohio's defense is actually it is the best in the MAC. One of the top defenses in the country currently, giving up 316 yards per game. That is them ranked 40th in the country, compared to Ball State, who has one of the worst defenses in the country, ranked 249th, giving up 465 yards per game. Ball State has lost 3 games in a row. Their team just fired their head coach 2 weeks ago. They are done playing football. They want the season to be over. They want to consume a bunch of alcohol. That is it. They just lost a home game to Bowling Green by 25 points. Now you got to go on the road Friday night spot against the Bobcats. They are not going to compete in this game. Ohio minus 14.5. Next game we're looking at, it is Duke and Wake Forest. I'm taking Duke minus 4.5. Duke still kind of has something to play for this season. They win this game, they move to 9-3. That is a better bowl game for them. Wake Forest 4-7. They have nothing to play for. They lost their previous game 42-14 against Miami, 100% knocking them out of bowl eligibility. They have, on paper, the better offense does Wake Forest, but they've lost 3 games in a row. Their defense cannot stop a single person. They're ranked 242nd in the country, giving up 454 yards per game, compared to Duke, who is ranked 118th, giving up just 360 yards per game. Duke has won back-to-back games against NC State and Virginia Tech. This travel spot, not bad at all. Duke to Wake Forest, not a bad travel. They should get a decent amount of home fans in this Wake Forest stadium. I do not think any Wake fans are going to be shelling out here to come to this game. So I'm going to take Duke minus 4.5. I think Wake is already done with the season. They are a baseball school anyway, not a football school. Next game, this is a Wednesday night game. Memphis and Tulane. I'm taking Memphis plus 13. You got 2 teams who are 9-2, meet up in the final week of the season. Again, Wednesday night game. Both of these teams have had almost 2 weeks to prepare. They have very similar offenses, averaging 450 and 444 yards per game, which is 33rd and 41st in college football. The big difference is that Tulane's defense is ranked 30th in the country, giving up just 308 yards per game, compared to Memphis, who's ranked 127th. Memphis 7-0 at home this season. They're 2-2 on the road. I don't really get this one, to be honest. At first, I was like, yeah, let me rock Tulane. But then I was like, nah, 13 points is too much here. So give me Memphis plus 13. Next game, Coastal Carolina, Georgia State. I'm taking Coastal minus 115. I don't think this game matters too much for Georgia State. Their season's already done. So give me Coastal. They win this. They're in the bowl game. These 2 teams' defenses are basically the same. They are ranked 210th and 212th, giving up 421 yards per game. Georgia State is 1-7 in their last 8 games. They're coming off of a win, so there's that. Coastal 2-6 in their last 8 games. I don't really know what to make of this one, but Georgia's already out. So give me Coastal minus 115. And if we're going based on logos, I do like the Chanticleers more than like them bummy Panthers. So give me the Chanticleers at minus 115. Next game, Liberty, Sam Houston. This is another really good matchup. You got a team 8-2 and 8-3. You got 2nd and 4th in Conference USA. Give me Liberty minus 2.5 on the road. Liberty has the much better offense, being ranked 23rd in college football, averaging 461 yards per game. Sam Houston ranked 156th, averaging just 367 yards per game. Sam Houston does have the better defense, giving up just 332 yards compared to Liberty's 360. But Liberty's won 3 games in a row. Sam Houston coming off a loss to Jacksonville State, 21-11. The most Sam Houston has scored in their last 4 games is 23 points. They've scored over 11 points just 1 time. That's 3 out of their last 4 games. They've been held to under 11 points. That is real bad. Give me Liberty. They should be able to go in, put up 28, 31 points, win this game very comfortably. Next one, Nebraska, Iowa. I am taking Iowa minus 5.5. After Nebraska's home win against Wisconsin, I think mentally they're going to check out for this game. They've already made a bowl game. They're sitting at 6-5. It means no difference to them if they end the season 7-5 and 6-6. They made a bowl game. That was the goal. Iowa coming off of a road win at Maryland, officially knocking Maryland out of competition for making a bowl game. Now they get one final game at home to make it 8-4 on the year. Offenses and defenses here, basically the same thing for both teams. They're within 20 yards of each other. And considering we're this far deep into the season, not going to make too much of a difference off of that. I think Nebraska focused all of their energy on the win at home against Wisconsin. They then partied a bit too hard Saturday night, Sunday night, maybe even Monday night. Who knows? Maybe Tuesday. Maybe they had Taco Tuesday and they just got hammered because they each had like 3 loaded margaritas. I don't know. I think the Hawkeyes get it done. The basketball team's in session, male and women's. The school's going to be rocking. The stadium's going to be pumping. Give me Iowa minus 5.5. All right, that is going to do it for me and this video. There will be another one for next week. I'll do conference championship matchups. I'll do probably one after that as well for the college football playoffs. So there'll be 2 more videos on my college football predictions and what I think is going to happen. So I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching, and I'll catch y'all in those videos. Peace.